Hello students, welcome to Arjun English School in 12th standard account part 2. This is the chapter 4, second class for this chapter. Now, today I am going to start the financial analysis and its objectives. Okay, so what are the objectives for financial analysis? First one, that is evaluation of earning capacity, means our earning capacity that is evaluated by its objectives. Here there is a next chapter, chapter number 5, that is analysis of ratio, which shows the actual the capacity of the company, that what is its actual capacity to earn the business. In addition to that, by using this ratio, you can compare yourself with different years in horizontal analysis and with the different companies as per vertical analysis. So this evaluation earning capacity, which can be measured by using the analysis of ratio to, to the different stakeholders. Now, what are the stakeholders? It includes the shareholders, government, creditors, debtors, as well as bankers. So it means all the internal and external users of financial statement, which we call stakeholders, and evaluation of earning capacity that is useful for different stakeholders. Second point, efficiency evaluation. Efficiency of the company means what are the maximum production capacity of the company, what are the maximum uses of assets, what are the maximum earning capacity. This capacity can be evaluated by these financial statements. Third point, that is solvency. Solvency evaluation, that is here in solvency evaluation, it categorized into short-term solvency as well as long-term solvency. Short-term solvency, which can be checked by the various debtors, trade receivables, and credit trade payables, and long-term solvency, which can be checked by various kinds of bankers, long-term loans, financial institutions, as well as debentures and potential investors. So this solvency evaluation can be measured by the short term and long term solvency. Next one, evaluation of managerial efficiency. The main business that is in the hands of management. If the management is strong, then loss making company converted into profit making company. So these all are depends on managerial capacity. So managerial capacity, what is the managerial capacity? Means what are in the hands of the company, the legal position as a manager and its direct board of directors. It includes the managerial directors, managers, etc. So what are the effective performance of the company and its fairness of decisions of board of director, that is in the hands of management. So managerial efficiency that is evaluated by the financial statements. Fifth point, that is planning for budget. Now planning for budget, which presents the budget which we can make on the basis of past performance of the company. So if past performance, past data that are available to us, which we call historical data. So if such data are available to us, then on the basis of past data, we can prepare the forecasting of budget. In forecasting of budget, we can estimate the future sales, future profit, future financial positions, future liquidity of the company, production, cash, revenue expenses, capital expenses, which these all the factors that are covered under the budget. Okay, in college, you will learn this chapter properly, budgets and its analysis. Next point, comparative study. Here in comparative study, it is the comparison between different years from the past data. It includes the profitability, liquidity, solvency, and efficiency of the company, where current year can be compared with the previous year on the basis of different years data. Okay, so we got the amount in absolute term as well as amount in percentage. So if we want to check the percentage term or amount, it can be solved by the comparative study. In this chapter, we are solving the practical sums on the basis of comparative study. So on the basis of this study, we can check that whether the company is strong or weak as compared to its competitors. Okay. Next point, simplicity to understand accounts. Accounts are very easy way to understand its simplicity by, if we know the rules, its principles, its terminology, then it is very simple. So here, on the basis of these rules and regulations, principles and terminology, we prepared the accounts. But some person who is not knowing properly about the what is accounting and its aspects. So here the comparative study, common size statements, cash flow statements, profit and loss and balance sheet, which highlighted the financial position of the company. So this financial statement helps any person who can read easily and properly, so they can properly understand the accounts. Okay. Further, this accounting which helps the investors for their future decision making, that if they want to invest in this company or not. Okay. So it is the simplicity to understand. Next one, users of financial statement. So what are the users of financial statement? There are some internal users, external users, short-term decisions, long-term decisions, existing investors, as well as potential investors. Okay, first of all, internal. Internal purpose that are covered employees as well as management. Okay, I am writing here internal purpose, which includes the employees and management. External users, which includes debtors, which we call trade receivable, creditors means trade payables, then after government and bankers, etc. Short-term decision, short-term decision that is taken for uh, short-term decisions which are taken with the company for supplying of goods or purchasing goods from such company. So it depends on trade receivable and trade payable, that whether they want to trade with this company or not. Next point, long-term decisions. Long-term decisions that are taken for long-term borrowings or any decision plan, long-term decision plan. Existing investors, which are called shareholders, and potential investors means, which we can call it like willful shareholders, means which are not actually shareholder but they willing to invest in this company. So these financial statements, this can be useful for different aspect to different person. Okay, they all of these, their aim are different, but the objective is the same, to earn the profit and not to suffer loss due to this company. That's it. Okay, so these are the financial analysis and its users. Next one, limitations. So what are the limitations of financial statement analysis? First one, that is, it is historical data, because historical data are changed from time to time. Any historical data which are correct at that point of time, but due to any factors like technological changes, political changes, or any other interference or any other aspects or purpose, due to which if we follow this past data, then it can be harmful to the company or it can be beneficial to the company. So we cannot blindly rely on this historical data, but we have to check its present and future aspect. There is one example like Yes Bank. Yes Bank performance for past 10 years are very good. But in 2019 and 20, it becomes the defaulter, and now no one wants to invest a single rupee in this bank, and its management is totally under the rules and regulations of Reserve Bank of India. Okay, because there are some frauds or are in this company, so all the legalities and rules and regulations norms that we followed this Yes Bank, which are provided by the RBI. So if I am checking 10 years data, then overall the position of of this bank is very good. But due to such scam, if I am forecasting for 2021, 22, and so on the basis of this last 10 years, so it is misleading to us. Got it? So historical data are good, but it cannot be blindly rely on this historical data. Next one, ignorance of inflation. Here, the main important role of inflation means in 1990, value of 100 rupees note is different. In 2010, value of 100 rupees note is different. And in 2020, value of 100 rupees note is different from time to time. Note is same, but value day by day decreases. So this reason is due to inflation. Okay. So if I am comparing myself with 1990 and 2000 any financial data, then maybe due to this inflation, my data all data are correct, but due to this reason, I am not perfectly rely on this data. And here the factor that is inflation, value of assets, value of liabilities, value of capital, all are changes from time to time. Let's say an example. If there is a land value rupees 5 lakh in 1990, now in my balance sheet, if I am showing the land as 5 lakh in still 2020, so in 1990 the value is correct, but in 2020 maybe this land is having a value of 5 crore rupees. So it means asset to whom I am assuming that value it is 5 lakh, but it is actually 5 crore in the market price. So now if I am using this data of 1990, so it is not correct in 2020. Okay, got it? So this is the second limitation. Next one, absence of qualitative aspect. So what are the qualitative aspects? Any loyalties of management, loyalties, any honesties or expertise of employees, due to which our company is very strong, but their contribution and efforts are not in the accounting system. So if I am ignoring loyalty, honesty, their experience and expertise in any particular field, but if I am completely follow the financial data and I am ignoring these all the values, then it may affect to our financial it may affect to our company on the basis of financial, because it these all financial data that is depends on this. But if I'm ignoring this data, then it may affect to our company. Got it? So this is the third point. Next one, fourth point, based on presentation of financial statement. Presentation of financial statements means we have to assume that all the financial statements that are true and fair view, and we have to rely on the financial statements which are provided to us by the company. But if the financial statements are misleading or forecasting or budgeting on the basis of such a data which are not exactly correct, so there may be, due to wrong decision, it may impact to investors as well as government. So here the presentation of financial statement, if it is misleading, then it may be harmful to the company. Next point, personal opinion. Personal opinion, that is depends on the management, and if management takes any wrong decision like depreciation method, inventory valuation method, like in depreciation method there are mainly two methods, SLM and WDV. In inventory valuation method there are two methods, mainly FIFO and LIFO. So this method, if I am using any wrong method, then this may affect to the company at the time of preparation and presentation of financial statements. Next one, window dressing. The most practical example, that is Satyam Computers scam of 2002. Main owner Ramalingam Raju. Here there is a practical example where we can study about the window dressing. What is window dressing? Actual company's position is not very good, but here in this company, Raju creates some fake invoices like sale, some fake in employees details, and misleads to the government as well as investors for, let's say, around 5 to 6 years. But as and when this fraud is come into know the market, then suddenly market crisis, and the share price of this computer, let's say it is for around 1500, it goes to 30 rupees within a week. Okay, so you can easily understand the share price of single share of 1500 rupees, which may directly down to 30 rupees, means here overall the investors money, they have to suffer a huge loss. Now, here it is a window dressing technique where any company which he actually does not create any proper profit, but or he may suffer any loss, but due to this window dressing, they create fake invoice, fake employees, and due to which, if they wants to create their financial position of the company is very good, but actually it is not good. But in financial statements like balance sheet, P&L account, as well as cash flow statements, they providing that it is differ from actual data, and due to which many investors who check the financial statements may misleading. So this window dressing technique may harmful to the government as well as investors. Okay, so this is the window dressing where actual the position of the company is not very sound, but company's financial data creates it as a very good position. Point number 7, disclose only symptoms of problem. Here, only symptoms of problem means, for example, if company has expected 30% of the gross profit and the company earns 20% of the gross profit, the reduced gross profit rate can be seen through financial statement analysis. But why gross profit is reduced cannot be ascertained. Management has to find out the solutions and has to frame the strategy accordingly. Here, our expected data may be differ from actual data. So here there is some reason why the actual data and expected data both are not same. So here management's duty to find these variances and to give the proper reasons for these variances. Okay, so these are the seven problems, means we can say that seven limitations of financial statements which can be harmful to the company. Next point. Now I'm going to start uh, tools on analysis of financial statement. So here it is the first tool, that is called comparison of financial statements. Here comparison of financial statements means comparative statements for profit and loss account and balance sheet, as well as common size statement for profit and loss account and balance sheet. But common size statements which are removed from your syllabus due to this panic situation. So in for exam purpose, we have to study about the comparative statements only. Okay. So here it is a comparative statement format. From the next class, I am going to discuss about this topic. So thank you for this class. Have a nice day.